Welcome to Books That Cook, the podcast where we turn business numbers into powerful insights. Hi, everyone. I am Iza Estinopo, and I am a certified public accountant here in the Philippines. And I run a company called Estinopo Accounting Firm. It is a local bookkeeping company, accounting services company that I run here. And I started this podcast, Books That Cook, because I believe that the bookkeeping process that we have in our company cooks success for the business. And here's what we believe: when your books are properly prepared, they don't just sit in spreadsheets. They start cooking results for your business, because in business your financial records, they are like ingredients in a kitchen. Now think about this: if your ingredients are incomplete, unorganized, or worse, spoiled, you can cook anything meaningful. But when everything is clean, structured, ready, that's when things start to change. Imagine you are cooking in your kitchen and everything is ready, everything is clean, everything is okay, everything is ready to cook, and now you just start to put the fire on your stove or your oven or whatever you use for your cooking, and then you just put the ingredients, right? So when you cook with the right ingredients, with the right environment, with the right mindset, you have a hearty meal for your family. And I somehow relate it to the bookkeeping that we have in our businesses, because I believe that when everything is clean, structured, and ready, that's when things start to change and your numbers begin to guide you, support you, and grow your business. And that's when your books start cooking. So let me share with you some real problems that business owners face. I have a simple question. Have you ever tried cooking without knowing what's in your kitchen? I've experienced that a couple of times, and it gives me anxiety, right? So it gives me the feeling that I am unsure on how I can cook this specific meal, or if I will be able to provide the meal that I need for my family, right? You open your fridge, you see random ingredients. Some of them are expired, some are missing, and somehow you are expected to create a great meal. And that's exactly how many business owners operate. They are making decisions, right? So they are hiring people, they are investing money, but they don't actually know their numbers. And they don't know how much they're earning, where their money is going, whether they are actually profitable, and yet they're trying to grow the business, right? And here's the truth: you cannot build a strong, scalable business on unclear financial data. You just can't. And that's why today's episode is so important, because before strategy, before expansion, before even profit optimization, you need one thing first: a bookkeeping system that actually works. So, what books that work or books that cook really means? Now, let's clarify something, because a lot of business owners think, well, I already have bookkeeping, I already have a bookkeeper. But having bookkeeping is very different from having useful bookkeeping. So, what does it mean to have books that actually work? Let me break it down in a simple way. First, your books must be accurate. They should not be estimates. They should not be guesses, not, I think this is right, figures. They must reflect reality. Second, they must be complete. Every transaction, every income, every expense, because missing data creates false confidence, and false confidence leads to bad decisions. Third, they must be organized, meaning you can actually understand your reports, and not just your accountant or not just your bookkeeper, but you as the business owner. Fourth, they must be updated regularly, not 3 months late, not we'll fix it at year end, because delayed numbers, they create delayed decisions. And lastly, they must be actionable. The first four items they are given already. If you have a good bookkeeper, right? Your records are accurate, complete, organized, updated regularly. But the fifth one, they must be actionable. Your books should help you answer questions like, should I hire? Should I expand? Can I invest? Where should I cut costs? What's actually making me money? If your books can't answer those questions, then they're not working. They're just sitting there. And they are just there for the sake of being there, for the sake of being an accounting report, a set of financial statements, right? So, what is the starter recipe? So, since the title of our podcast is Books That Cook, we relate accounting records, bookkeeping records into cooking, and we will have a starter recipe. So, if you want your books to start cooking results, you need these four core ingredients. First ingredient, a structured system. You need a system and not scattered files, not random spreadsheets, not it's all in my email. Because here's what happens without a system: you lose data, you duplicate entries, you create confusion, and that's expensive, right? Whether it's QuickBooks, Zero, or any reliable platform that you use, the goal is simple: consistency and structure. Because structure creates clarity, right? Second ingredient, proper categorization. This one is critical and often overlooked, and sometimes it is done out of compliance only. A lot of businesses record transactions, but they are categorizing them incorrectly, right? Expenses are mixed, income streams are unclear, personal and business finances are combined. So imagine cooking, you don't know which one is salt, which one is sugar, which one is flour. So that's what bad categorization does. It destroys the meaning of your numbers. Third ingredient that we have, consistent updating. So bookkeeping is not a once a year activity. If you are only updating your books at year end, or if you are just updating your books because you need it for your taxes, you are not managing your business. You are just documenting the past. And by the time you see the numbers, it's already too late to fix anything. What you need is rhythm, weekly, monthly updates, because in business, timing is everything. Fourth ingredient, financial visibility. This is the last ingredient. At the end of all of this, your books should give you clarity. They should have a clear visibility of your income, expenses, profit, cash flow. And if you open your reports, you feel confused instead of confident, that's a problem because your numbers should guide you, not overwhelm you. So, I also want to share with you what ruins the recipe. And we can somehow relate to these things. Because even you have good ingredients, bad habits can destroy the outcome. Here are the most common mistakes I see. Number one, mixing personal and business finances. This is actually not good for your business because you need to measure what your business is actually doing, or how your business actually performs, or the health of your business. If you are mixing your personal finances with your business, I think there could be a problem with that. Another mistake, delaying bookkeeping regularly, doing it just for the sake of yearly tax requirements, or another mistake is ignoring financial reports, treating bookkeeping as a low priority. Trying to do everything alone is another mistake. And I can somehow relate to that. I also have clients locally that does these things, and it hurts their business because they don't actually know how their business is doing. They expand quickly and then discover eventually that they have books that don't complement the expansion. or books that don't support the expansion. Right? So here's the biggest mistake: seeing bookkeeping as an expense, seeing bookkeeping as just a requirement of the government because they require it. Actually, bookkeeping is not an expense. Yes, it is an expense when you pay your bookkeeper with how much an amount that you pay your bookkeeper. That is an expense for the company, but that is also an investment. That is also a business tool because when done right, bookkeeping doesn't just track your business, it improves it. So, when your books start cooking, imagine this scenario. You open your financial reports and everything makes sense. You know exactly where your money is going, what's profitable, what needs to improve, when you can grow, and that's the moment your books start cooking. And they stop being just records. They start becoming strategy. And this is exactly what we help business owners achieve, not just clean books, but books that actually support growth. So here's the takeaway for today: your business will only grow as strong as your financial foundation. And that foundation starts with books that actually work. Starts with books that cook. Because when your books are clean, structured, updated, they don't just track your transactions or track your business, they help you build it. If you found value in this episode, make sure to follow Books That Cook on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And share this with a business owner who needs to fix their financial kitchen. Thank you so much. Again, this is Isa. And remember, when your books are done right, they don't just record, they cook results.